from 63. So this recipe is so dead simple that even Frank could do it. Hear that, Frank? Yeah, you're dumb as rocks. We start by placing a half cup of margarine or butter in a 13x9 pan. I'm using butter because I have standards. Do I? Pop this into a 350-degree oven just until it's melted. Oh boy! Then you just evenly dump in a cup and a half of graham cracker crumbs, a 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, 2 cups of chalky chips, a cup of coconut flakes, and finally a cup of chopped nuts. Frank, what nuts do we use? We gonna use Brazil nuts. They don't get enough love, and I'm a lover of all nuts. Get in. Bake at 350 for about a half hour. Hello. You gotta let it cool. Oh yes, these will do just fine. I mean, look at them. For something that is just dumped in a pan, that is bloody genius and tastes brilliant. Scotcheroos from 1965. So Rice Krispie treats were invented all the way back in 1939 at the Kellogg's Company in Battle Creek, Michigan, and have since become the most dominant Rice Krispie confection. But 26 years later, they came up with these, a lesser-known variant, which we are going to try today. In a big old pan, we're gonna need a cup of corn syrup, followed by a cup of sugar. Excessive. Fire! Bring this to a boil to create a cavity-inducing syrup. Charming. Next, we remove from heat and add in a cup of peanut butter. Mix. Then in goes 5 cups of Rice Krispies. You know, I've never understood America's obsession with breakfast cereals. Whatever was wrong starting your middle school mornings crying over a sad bowl of oatmeal? That was character building. Good old liquid cardboard. Anyway, this is rather dense. In this goes to a 13x9. Just cooperate. While that's cooling, we melt a cup of butterscotch chips and a cup of chalky chips over a double boiler. Melt, you get! Just spread it on and cool completely. Yes! Man, these are good. These are better than Rice Krispie treats. A CocaCola Salad from the 70s. So this recipe has been floating around the internet for quite some time now, and people seem to think it's from the 50s, but it's not. It's more so typical of the 70s or the 80s or a psychopath. We start with 1 package of cream cheese, into which we dust a package of orange Jello. Yeah, that really does say that. Oh no. Some high-vis cheese, Department of Transportation certified. Next, we take 10 ounces of Coke and we boil it. Fire! This is a very disturbing way to spend a day. Oh, I'm scared. Just what I was feeling for lunch. Carbonated orange cheese gravy. Look away. Lastly, we have a half cup of nuts. At least the recipe is self-aware. So we leave this at room temperature for a bit. Then to the fridge. Good morning. That's a lie. So first and foremost, it is disturbing. Quite. But the potential is there. Because it has this cheesecake vibe. And the flavors are okay. It's just been corrupted. Macaroni Biscuits from World War II. So during the turn of the 40s, there was this strange trend of people putting disturbing ingredients into dinner biscuits. Whether it was the product of wartime rations, personal taste, or consanguineous marriage remains a mystery. First step is to cook a half cup of macaroni. Fire! Meanwhile, our dry ingredients are 2 cups of flour, 1/4 cup of sugar, teaspoon of salt, plus 5 teaspoons of baking powder. God damn. This is the Josh Groban treatment. You can fire these from a mortar. Y'all got me making ballistic biscuits. Strain! Wet ingredients are 3 tablespoons of melted shortening, a cup of moo juice, 1 egg, and the macaroni. Combine the two, mix. Boop. We got the muffin biscuits. Half hour at 400. Oh boy! Woo! What? Oh, there's something wrong here. There seems to be macaroni in my biscuit. Precisely what you think it would be. Feels like brains. An emergency war cake. No eggs, no milk, no butter, no joy. There's no sugar either. Is this the cake? 2 teacups of raisins. How am I supposed to know how big your teacups are? Ira? 1 teacup of dates. Why do dead people like dates so much? Bam! Fire! Cup and a half of molasses. Pretty sure this is how diesel is made. Cinnamon! Ira needs cloves. Easy does it. Wouldn't want to ruin a disaster. Here goes nothing. What in good God is this? Ira, honey, I'm going to war. Over what? Your cooking. Come on! This is the only cake that looks burnt before you bake it. Oh dear. Tastes like a boot. Like a size 10 boot. Pork cake? Pork cake. What are you doing with that pork? Oh, you know, just baking my cake. Eggs. A cup of sugar. The only type of dates I can get. These ones also end in pieces. Blackstrap molasses. Cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg. Already looks like the Great Depression. This feels illegal. Finger the pork and batter. You've got the wrong man. Add flour. Thanks. You ever see a sewage pipe burst? Bake in a moderate oven. No need to get political. Jesus. Don't tell Gordon Ramsay. Good. I need therapy. Oh boy. It tastes like a question mark. A good question mark. Bake this for someone, but don't tell them till afterward. Cream Coleslaw from 1973. Now, I don't precisely know the nature of the dystopian demons that must have been inhabiting the minds of the people of the 1970s, but they must have been severe enough as to cause this abomination. We begin with 3 cups of shredded cabbage. You know, cabbage is one of those things. I have nothing else to add. Next is 8 ounces of whipped topping. That's one way to spice things up. We don't shame anybody here. Now, 20 ounces of crushed pineapple. Did I mention this was in the kids' recipe section? Yeah. This is why we hate cabbage. Very bad. Finally, we have a pinch of salt and 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. You, ma'am, are motivated by anger and anger alone. Now we let this chill for about 2 hours or enough time to sell your possessions and flee the state. I feel like I'm waiting to be hanged. All right. It tastes like how a dentist office smells. Broken dreams and scattered screams. That's the product of an ill mind. Chow mein cookies from 1968. Now, I'm down for chow mein noodles and I'm down for cookies, but I mean, common sense says that they shouldn't necessarily go together. Or do they? We start with 6 ounces of chalky chips, which is a little more than a cup. Plus 6 ounces of butterscotch chips. We're off to a good start. Now we simply melt this over a double boiler. Fire! Then we remove from heat and add in 5 ounces of chow mein noodles. You see, this is where you lose me, because I think this is troubling, like clinically, or you were subject to a fall from a great height. Trying to say you're a little messed up, Teresa from Memphis, Tennessee. And a half cup of salted peanuts. Some crunch for your trauma. Mix until you cry, then you just dollop onto some wax paper to cool while you think about your life choices. Here we have some choice piles of excrement. Yeah, this is just a good idea. The smooth chocolate and the butterscotch with the salty crunch of the noodles and the peanuts, yes. Seafood mousse from 1972. So they describe this dish as an elegant and fancy way to elevate family dinners. However, upon first glance, I would describe it as an ornate pile of Start with a cup and a half of canned crab. I love crab in a can. Yay! Why does it have a diaper? Is the crab diaper integral to this dish? Well, you never know. Cup of celery. Celery, if water was a vegetable. Marinate this in some lemon juice. Tabasco. Worcestershire. My car on a cold morning. Worcestershire sauce. Salt. And onion powder. Now atop a double boiler, we melt 8 ounces of cream cheese in a can of tomato soup. Fire! Now to a cup of water goes 3 packets of gelatin. You knew this was coming. It's like watching a car crash. I move this to an ice bath. Once it's thickened, we fold in a cup of mayonnaise. Whatever you think elevate means is wrong. Finally, our crab. It's just morbid. To the fridge. That's fancy, all right. Fancy feast. Some good cat food. A+.